I'm Phoebe Golson. It's supposed to work this way in a democracy. You go to the polls expecting your vote to elect people for a full term. But the case we're investigating tonight in the city of Syracuse may surprise you because a group of 6 officials overturned the will of thousands of local voters in a matter of days. Here's Caitlin Campbell.
I, Charlene Twiggy Billiard,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
It's swearing-in day for Syracuse School Board member Charlene Billiard, who goes by the name Twiggy. She wouldn't be in office for long.
I probably would tear that apart. You have to have some sort of basis, right?
This is a case of intrigue, rife with politics, payback, and even bullying.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And she caused a lot of ruckus, interruption.
And it all raised serious questions and led the Newhouse Spotlight team to spend months digging into why Billiard, who received 13,000 votes, was bounced by the board. To give you a sense on how many voters 13,000 represents, that would fill to capacity the Syracuse Met Stadium with an overflow crowd of 2,000 people. And yet, even after all those people voted to keep Billiard in office, it only took 6 people to overturn the will of the voters. It's Sunday at Tucker Missionary Baptist Church in Syracuse's South Side. The pews are packed and the choir has the church buzzing with energy and Sunday joy. Tucker Missionary sits in the heart of where Billiard was elected for a second time.
What I know is the story is bigger than that was put out. I was not surprised. I didn't vote for her because I've witnessed some things through the years. Her behavior, rude behavior, degrading.
Buffalo education attorney Amanda Smith says the bar is supposed to be very high to remove officials such as Billiard.
They have to be usually issued like written charges. They have to have an explanation on why they're being removed, but it's proposed to be removed. So then they have an opportunity to respond. There has to be some sort of public hearing. They have the ability to cross-examine witnesses.
A driving force in this may have been the Syracuse Teachers Association.
If the teachers union made complaints about her, that's probably what forced it in this instance.
And as you're about to discover, not much about Billiard's case is normal.
Tonight, backlash in Northeast Tennessee following the actions of a Washington County school board member.
There is no more stark comparison to this case than in Tennessee.
In April, school board member Keith Irvin made inappropriate comments directed at a teenager sitting next to him at a school board meeting.
God, you're hot. You know that? Dang. Where'd you go to school at?
For that, the board simply decided to censure the member, and no recall campaign was waged, which is the process to remove a member in Tennessee.
Charge number 1, failure to adhere to district visitor policy and building security protocols. On September 17th, 2025, Commissioner Billiard, accompanied by her spouse, entered Roberts Elementary School without following established visitor protocols.
In this case, Billiard was accused of walking into her grandson's elementary school, she's his guardian, to speak to teachers about her grandson being bullied. Roberts Elementary School. The Newhouse Spotlight team found in state records does have problems with bullying. There were 20 bullying incidents reported at Roberts Elementary during the last 2 school years, and 5 reported threats of violence. Despite that, the school's problem with Billiard was that she didn't follow procedure to sign in. The claim is Billiard then got hostile with a teacher.
I did not do any wrongdoing. I entered the school never as a commissioner, only as a grandmother.
Nicole Capsello, head of the Syracuse Teachers Association, strongly disagrees.
There's actually ed law around visitors in buildings and visitors showing up in classrooms, and because of that ed law, there are board policies. For safety purposes, adults cannot just show up in classrooms.
Is it that Billiard simply isn't well liked by her board colleagues because they believe she can be testy and rude, as we've heard repeatedly during the course of this investigation, and even our producers found out? Yet being disagreeable is not grounds to be removed from office, which is why you may be interested in what a Spotlight team researcher found that separates this case from almost all the others.
And the thing about the Twiggy Blue case is that it didn't seem like a huge violation in comparison to some of the other like big cases.
Ben Butler, a researcher for the Newhouse Spotlight team, had one job: dig into decades of cases where allegations were made against school board members in the United States. He built a database and ID'd 64 important cases from 1992 to present.
A Charleston County School Board member facing calls to step down from his role.
Take this case in Charleston County, South Carolina. A board member allegedly said at a Moms for Liberty event that he'd show up at a transgender teacher's house with a gun.
Outrage in the Ole Valley School District after the school.
That case was in Ole Valley, Pennsylvania in 2024 when a board member displayed a highly offensive Nazi slogan and a swastika in faded paint on her garage that's next to a district high school.
The most interesting thing is that a lot of the cases that were just censures, or where the censure was overturned or where the board member wasn't removed, there were a lot of cases that were like very egregious.
Bill Yu, in a chat with local content creator George Kilpatrick, says she was never given a fair shot, but kept her cards close.
I believe it was predetermined. There's been a lot of things that I've went through since being on the board that aren't public, so I wouldn't say a shock.
The hours-long board hearing held to remove Bill Yu seems strange for a number of reasons. Only one board member spoke. None of them asked a question. 3 lawyers for the school district ran the meeting. The Spotlight team reviewed hours of video from that hearing. An obvious contention: did the school district's attorney immediately retain CCTV video from Roberts Elementary the day of the alleged incident?
Did she review the cameras at the school?
It's my understanding the footage did not exist at that point.
The cameras don't work?
No, the footage isn't retained for longer than a certain specific number of days.
The district's own lawyer also conceded she never asked for the school sign-in logs that day. To boot, the school district released to us a drastically redacted copy of their own investigation. They redacted almost all of the evidence and almost all of the claims Bill Yu made. We tried to ask them questions.
I know you haven't been able to speak with other outlets on this issue, but I hope that you consider sitting down with me and answering my questions.
The school board president approached our producer after the meeting, saying she talked to the Spotlight team. After 12 emails and phone calls, she never did. And remember the deacon from Tucker Missionary Baptist, Deacon Betts? To her, that's not a surprise.
It seems as if they're not transparent, and when you're not transparent, people's imaginations, you come up with all these assumptions, but if you tell people exactly what happened, then we can move on from this. But as long as it's a secret, we can't.
Joining us now are digital reporters Samantha Olander and Alex Sturm. Sammy, what was your experience like doing reach-outs and interviews for this piece?
To be honest, it was quite difficult. We kind of went into this process hoping to get both supporters and detractors of her, and we had a much easier time getting people who would go on the record to speak negatively about her than those who were in support of her.
And Alec, why do you think it was so difficult, even though you guys had months to reach out?
Yeah, I think it's because she's still a really active member of this community, even though she's no longer on the school board. Throughout this whole reporting process, we've seen people from both sides of this issue, those who wanted to see her ousted from the school board and those who really believed in her as a community member and wanted to see her represented there, hesitant to speak out, honestly, out of fear of retribution from the school board members. People who supported Bill Yu didn't necessarily want to speak at the hearing in January because they were worried about the school board, and members of the Syracuse Teachers Association didn't want to speak to us, the reporters. They work at the schools and they were worried about the school board. Only the president of the Teachers Association would be willing to speak. We saw this in the community too. We went out and we knocked on doors and spoke to people who voted for Bill Yu, but even those who knew about the situation and knew why she was removed didn't want to share those details or their opinions with us.
Thank you so much. Sammy and Alec, you can see their work below the video box.